there, welcome back to my channel, Reacting Chill. I'm Dika. So last time on Snowpiercer, we had different parties from different sides of the track, mind the pun, technically coming together / working together, even bonding in more ways than one. So last time Zara finally gave birth to her baby, beautiful baby girl. She was healthy. She did experience a lot of trouble going through the birth itself with her body temperature dropping, and obviously that's due to the fact that she was literally giving birth to like a baby, ice baby, a baby who can survive the cold weather. Amidst all that baby pressure and stuff, someone was trying to target Layton, Pike, so he had to deal with that, and obviously having someone targeting or trying to coming after him specifically on the train. And I talked about that last time in my last reaction about what I thought about that and why I really hope maybe there's something else I'm missing, but I just feel like it's so unnecessary for what Pike is doing. I don't know who's gonna win, if anyone's gonna win, who's gonna actually benefit from this. And like I mentioned, we had all sorts of different alliances. We had Ben and Josie, we had Sykes and Harvey, we had Till and Audrey, and even Alex in some ways or another warmed up to Wilfred in his catamous state. So a lot was definitely going on. Towards the end, I saw that Pike kind of got rid of the remote that set off. He kind of broke out, destroyed it. I don't think it's the end of essentially trying to work out who it was. I think Layton had other issues to resolve at that time, and it's like I always said before, there's not, how far are you able to go when you're all on a train? So it won't be long until, I assume it won't be long until Layton works out who it was that was targeting him, and again what that actually means for him. But yes, here we are with episode 6, Born to Bleed. So don't forget to click the link in the description to find my reaction, and then come back over to the YouTube video to hear my discussion. So that was episode 6. That was a really good episode. I do like the different stuff we got to explore there. One of the main things and themes that were running through the episode was about tradition. We finally got to see Miles after so long, and God, did that boy grow up. But the traditions about being a Taily and what it means to be a Taily, even at the end they use the Taily tradition to sort of essentially resolve their beef. Again, I really wanted to understand. There are parts of Pike and what he meant to the resistance and everything, and parts that I did like of his personality and in his character. But just as he said himself, it was clear that it was always going to end only in one way, and that was if he never got that out of him. The frustration and the urge that has built up clearly against Layton. Layton was willing to let bygones be bygones. He even admitted and obviously let Pike know that he's done some shitty things. I do think when Pike was slowly losing the plot, and things weren't going as well as they should do, like for him mentally, he should have seen a therapist or something. Because I feel like those 6 months Layton was away, having Layton away from him and then having him come back almost re-established his hate for him, almost re-established all of that burning rage he had for him. You even saw it throughout where he always felt like Layton betrayed them when he had left the tail. So when they took him the first time, and in season 1, it was this whole battle. Like I said, throughout there was this sense of tradition, where he clearly when Z, I think that's what his name was, mentioned that Layton's always going to be a Taily regardless. Once a Taily, always a Taily, and the fact that they were going to stick out for him once they found out what had happened to him. And then the other time, it clearly affected Pike when he found out that the baby, that moment he had with the baby, was probably the most purest, you can say, the least crazy, because after that point, he had found out that it was a third-class tradition used to name the baby and not a Taily tradition. So again, it may sound like minor things, but he was wrought with guilt. He had so many things going on, and he was still angry. So like I said, this was only going to end one way. One of them had to die, and Pike was going to expose Layton. He's like, basically, if you want to keep this lie, because he knows it's a lie, he was able to figure out, he spoke to Asha, he was going to expose it all. He didn't care because he felt like Layton has gotten away with it too many times. And then this goes back to how I was feeling. I'm sorry, Pike, but enough was enough. Sometimes you need to stop acting like a crazy, like he could not seem to let it go. And as much as I did like Pike, it was time for you to go. You were literally you'd be affecting everyone's not safety, but affecting the whole mission. So yeah, the other interesting thing was with Wilford and Audrey. Now Wilford, after getting out of bed and going about his business, he's clearly still affected with what he believes he was in the drawers and the nightmarish stuff, but he has started to come round to people getting off the train, the potential of this new Eden. What I was really surprised is how Audrey's reaction was. She was like, this is your train, and like keeping everyone on. I don't know if this is down to a fear of leaving the train, a fear of losing that power, but he was like, at least we'll have each other. And clearly she wasn't happy with that. And I'm like, Wilford clearly has a little bit of semblance of sanity left if he recognized her, if he knew he was there, if he was talking to her. And again, he was looking at the details, he was looking at the notes and stuff. So he said, it's the science backs it up. Which goes back to what I said before. He didn't want to believe it. Wilford was an engineer. He didn't want to believe it. He was basically feeding the train lies to keep everyone on. But he definitely had a change of heart, especially from the experience that he went through. And on the flip side of that, you had Roche, who was back in the mental psych ward, and he didn't want to leave. He was angry. He was upset. It was burning inside him. And it was such a sweet moment when his daughter, like Carly, helped him out of that, sort of helped him kind of come back to his senses again. He was feeling a lot of anger, and rightly said, he just didn't know where to place it. He was so angry, he just didn't know what to do, and he said if I go out there, he wouldn't know how to control it. And I'm glad that they mended their relationship in the end, because they do need Roche. And he was an incredible brakeman, and I know the other person who was making sure, and that was literally couldn't wait to get back to him, was Till. And then finally, with Andre now collapsing, this again, I don't know what it's going to cause. The Tailies have lost the main member, as they were losing a lot of people over the years. Like, I feel like Pike, when they were able, it was a shock to everyone, to the point where they didn't, if they did see him, they weren't potentially looking to rat on him. And I did like the detective game that they played, trying to lead it. Obviously Till wouldn't know about the Tailies traditions or Tailies what they did, but putting two and two together, they realised that with Lights's cookbook, only a few people knew, and then there's even a smaller handful of people who are still alive. So I really like that sort of detective work they did. And then obviously Pike couldn't get away, he couldn't leave, there's nowhere for him to go. If people, again, there's only so far you can go on a train, and that's the one thing I love about this show. The world is so expansive within this train. Of course, people are getting second thoughts, people are worried, people are scared of leaving the train. So it's I love how it was just sort of building up to this. And obviously that last bit when Pike knew he had lost after this stab to the heart with the dagger, he was like, I hope you find it frozen. So right to the bitter end, he basically, it was an FU to Layton, and you could tell that was again the last thing Layton wanted to do, and it was hard, it was hurtful, and it was hard. I don't think that was something he wanted, but the train has to move on. But I hope someone does at least go and checks on him or discovers that shit. I mean, I don't know how many other people knew he had a concussion apart from Zara and obviously Pike, but I hope someone checks on him, because he's currently knocked out cold. That was it. That was a really good episode. Again, shame. Feel bad for Pike, but you've got to do what you got to do to make sure everyone survives. So if you did like this episode, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.